for the second part of the HoopHall recap episode. This is going live on Wednesday, but had to get my boy Chris from Memphis Country. He's a casual, not a casual, he's a usual on the show. This is what, fourth or fifth time now.
Yeah,
Been friends for years, even though we've never met met in person. But it doesn't matter. We love talking hoop, and that's what we're going to do today. I was able to go watch two guys that he is very excited to see what happens next. Uh, Talking about University of Memphis commits JJ Taylor and Mikey Williams. Before we get into it, Chris, good to see you, my guy. How you doing?
it's good to see you too, man. It's feels like we always take too long to do it again, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. I haven't really spouted any opinions about them yet, so this will be a first.
Yeah, I know. We'll kind of kick it off like this. I remember you texted me like a year and a half ago. You were like, oh no, I think you're actually on this podcast and we're talking Memphis basketball. And you're like, I have intel that Amani is going to commit to Memphis. And then like 2, 3 weeks later, I think it was, he ended up committing and then coming a year early with Jalen. I bring that up to say, did you know Mikey and JJ were going to commit when they did? Did you have intel at all, or was it kind of a surprise to you when they ended up committing to Penny?
Um, it did not come as a complete surprise. I knew I wouldn't say it was like a secret visit. I mean, I think people knew about it, but I knew that they were coming in for an unofficial the weekend, or I knew they were coming in for an unofficial that week. And I mean, I had no idea that they would commit on the spot like that, but I did know they were coming in for a visit, and I knew things looked good, but no, I didn't know that Penny would get a commitment out of them that weekend. I had no idea.
It's an interesting thing. I know last year y'all kind of had an up and down year with Jalen and Amani and the rest of the squad. A couple of guys, ended up in the G League. A couple of guys came back. Amani transferred, which I think was for the better. Um, Before we get into JJ and the rest of the recruiting class and the game I watched, um, you got a couple good players this year. You guys are looking really good, competed with Auburn. How do you feel about this season's team and the chances you guys have of winning the conference?
Um, Honestly, after Saturday, I I like our chances a lot more of winning the conference. You saw Alabama come back and beat Houston on the road. It shows you that Houston's really not like this number one juggernaut team that everyone has hyped them up to be.
Right.
Honestly, this is a conversation for another day, but I think low battery. But I think UConn is the best team in the nation easily. After what I've watched them play a few times, they can shoot the hell out the ball. But anyway, on to Houston. I don't I don't see Houston like everyone else did. I always see Houston as a beatable team for us because Penny's always known how to like I don't know how to explain it, how to decipher their recipe to winning. We've
Right.
always competed with Houston. So um I think this year's team is probably going to be Penny's best team as far as NCAA tournament seeding, as far as win total, as far as all that stuff. Not his most talented team, obviously, but definitely his best team, his most together team, and the team that will probably accomplish the most, in my opinion.
Yeah, you had a couple of transfers come in, Emmanuel Acott, Keontae, Kendrick, and Elijah McCaden. Who's the guard that's really popping out? Is it Kendrick Davis? That's the one that's kind of popping off right now?
Yeah, it's Kendrick. Kendrick was the player of the year in our conference last year at
Wow, okay.
SMU. He uh he came here because his coach stepped down or got fired or something like that. But um the also Acott never came. He ended up going to Western Kentucky.
Oh, I don't know why it said that on 24/7 Sports to that he came in Memphis.
He
So
signed. He literally signed, and then like on last four classes, he went to Western Kentucky. That guy, their coach over there is I think he's involved with some some stuff. I don't know. I won't speculate too hard, but
it's interesting you bring up UConn as the best team. I think, in my opinion, I'd love to get your take on this real quick too. It doesn't seem like there's a conceded, like without a doubt, number one team in the country. This is kind of the first time I think in a while that the college basketball really been kind of like an open thing. We haven't like the Dukes, Kentuckies, Kansases of the world. They're still in the top 25, but they're not the top teams. They got a lot of, I know with especially with Duke with John Shire, new kind of culture being set, offense and defenses being set up. It will be Kansas. Kentucky doesn't really seem that good of a team this year to me. I saw them play in that the thing they do in New York every year, the Champions Classic. They didn't seem that talented of a group like of years past. I know Texas is up there, but of course the news of Chris Beard today, that's gonna hurt them a little bit.
That, that's
Purdue,
weird.
Zach Edey is looking like the best player in the country right now, with the stats that guy puts up. And UConn, I haven't really heard much about UConn. I know they were top 25 ranked coming in, and then didn't they get the number one spot today, or did Purdue?
Yeah, they got number one today.
So I know I saw Bobby Hurley this weekend at the HoopHall West event that I was at, and his brother is killing it. Bobby as well. ASU should be a top 25 program. They're playing lights out basketball right now. But what do you think? Is this kind of the most open college basketball has been in the last couple of years, or what do you think?
Well, gosh, I would say so. I mean, I wouldn't say like I would say that that COVID year that Gonzaga and Baylor were definitely the top two teams.
Yeah.
Last year I don't know I don't feel like there was really I feel like it was pretty open last year, but um and also with Kentucky, I think Kentucky is the exact same thing that they were last year. I think they made any improvement. I think they're
Yeah.
Oscar play some decent wings, and they still have I
No guards.
they don't yeah, and they don't have what's his name Ty Washington this year either. So
Right.
they have Wheeler. Wheeler, he's good sometimes. He's not good other times. That's not a good recipe for winning with your point guard. They have some 5 stars that I guess
Oh
could
yeah.
break. I mean, I know they have a ton of 5 stars, but I mean, it's almost like they're just perennial underachievers now. It's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, with Kentucky, DJ Wagner, Justin Edwards, top two players in the 23 class committed to Kentucky. Aaron Bradshaw, excuse me, number 6 in the country. He's committed to Kentucky. Number 9, Rob Dillingham. He's committed to Kentucky. Excuse me. Rob Dillingham's one of my favorite players in this 23 class. I love the skill set. He's really quick with the ball. Um, Unfortunately, what happened with Donda, of course, but
Yeah.
he's a guy that I think, next year's Kentucky could be different. But like you said, I mean, 5 stars. Like I saw a lot of kids this past weekend play, and they're not 5 stars, 4 stars, and they played just as hard as the 5 stars.
It's
So
not
like,
college basketball just isn't a 5 star game anymore.
no,
It's about how old you are now. It's about how many 5th year seniors you have now. It's not about how many 5 stars you get. Not to say some 5 stars still do have an impact and a big impact, but like Rob Dillingham and DJ Wagner, that is a ridiculous backcourt. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, I would I would I'm not gonna I would venture to say that Kendrick Davis and Alex Lomax would probably take them to school because they're both 5th years. They're both 23 years old.
yeah,
And Jay Wagner and Robert Dillingham are 17, 18 years old. Like it's just it's not college basketball has flipped back over to the upperclassmen. It's
yeah.
upper class.
It's what it was like in the 90s and early 2000s, just like 4-year guys just taking freshmen to school. But let's get into this game I went and saw and the class that you guys got coming in. A lot of hype around Mikey since he was in like 8th grade, it seems like. He's been in the spotlight ever since he played with Bronny back in the blue chip days that summer. And sneaker deals, YouTube series, documentaries, commercials. This guy's been given everything since he was 13, 14 years old, it seems like. Um, in my eyes, what I saw, they lost to Perry, who's a very good team out here, 90-66. Um, he's had a very interesting high school path. I know he started at San Ysidro, went to some weird ass prep schools, academy schools out on the East Coast, tried playing there. You would probably know better than me, but didn't seem like to have a good experience with those teams and good competition. Came back, his team's 3-3. A lot of expectations. The gym was packed. I don't know if you saw the videos that I was posting, but place was packed to see him and JJ. And they got their ass kicked. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I got the stats up. Mikey had 21 points, and I think he had where's the freaking rebounds? Here we go. So 21 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for Mikey, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist for JJ with 4 steals and a block. Their skills, like how they played, like Mikey can get a bucket. Yeah, he's really good on the mid range. He's very good at getting to the spots he wants to. His ball handling's great. Got a lot of athleticism. That's what people like about him. But he didn't seem to have that, I guess, like motor and that motive that like people think he has. Like, I'm going to go and kill you out here and get what's mine. He seemed very nonchalant. Didn't get his teammates involved at all outside of the 45 points that Mikey and JJ scored. 4 points for Angelo Gill, 5 points for Ty Ingram, 1 point for Alex Cervantes, and 3 points for Guerra, whatever his first name is. They don't seem to get a lot of their guys involved, even though they have a pretty decent roster, at least in my eyes. But yeah, what do you think about kind of what people are expecting them to bring to Memphis, and what do you think they're actually going to bring when they come to Memphis next year?
Well, expectations, I guess, for the average person or casual person are going to be very high,
You're
obviously.
right.
Mikey, he's a household name already. He's been a household name since he was 14, 15 years old. And his he's the best way I can describe it is I think he's a lot more famous than he is good at basketball. And it's not totally his fault either, because that's not me knocking
Yeah.
his basketball skills or calling him a good basketball player, but a lot of problems arise, especially at the college level, whenever you're more famous than good at basketball, because then you start feeling like you're entitled to things, and locker room things start to blow up. We saw this
Right.
with the Memphis, and I'm not opposed to Memphis getting Mikey and JJ. I think it's fun. I think it gives me more interaction. It gives the city more eyes. It gives the program more eyes on it. So I'm
Right.
not, but as far as how much it would work if both of them were starting from day one, I don't I don't think that would be an NCAA tournament team unless they had some really good dudes around them. I don't think that those guys can just walk into college basketball and be good, because my biggest issue with JJ Taylor is definitely his motor. His just watching. I mean, I've never watched him play live in person, but watching highlights and even full games I've seen, he just does. He just has no hustle. Like on the defensive end, I'd see so many guys just go right by him on on offense, on defense, both. I don't see much like motor to get rebounds and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And I think he has all the talent in the world. I think that's why he was a top 5 player at one point. But the motor thing really does worry me. I hope Penny can fix that. And as far as Mikey, I already explained that. I could see that going a lot of ways, and most of them are not the right way.
Yeah, I want people to know when we're talking about this, we're not trying to, like shit on them or like say they have no talent. But, you know, I think with Mikey, I don't know his life story. I don't know what his family situation's like, but he doesn't seem to have um maybe a lot of good people around him that are trying to help him make the right decision. You know, being a kid, with the spotlight, like he said, at such a young age, I'm sure that gets to your head. Like when I'm there hanging out, I got 1,200 followers on Instagram. I'm not some like, I know he's got like what, 2 million now, something crazy like that. But like when I walk in the gym to watch these kids play, and they got 12-year-olds wearing Mikey's jersey, like high
Yeah,
school jersey. I'm like, where are you getting that? Are you getting it like on some like knockoff website, that like you can find something in? But um, I just I worry because, like you said, it's not necessarily a bad thing that Memphis got him, but it's not a good thing either because of the problems that could happen in the locker room with ego and stuff. I think that's what is happening kind of with Bronny James too. Bronny's very skilled. He has the motor. He wants to be in the league soon. But like you haven't seen anybody recruit him. Like he's playing Melo's son tonight. Melo's like a sophomore, and Melo's son's like a sophomore. He's already got an offer from Syracuse and Memphis, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
So, like at least with Kyan, I think his name is, like Melo wasn't as a crazy and big of a star like LeBron is, to at least, his kid might have potential. I heard a lot of schools are worried about the, quote unquote baggage that could come with bringing a kid like Bronny to your school and the expectation of a national championship. When, you know, I've watched Bronny play in person, I've watched a lot of tape. He's not necessarily an impact guy, just like Mikey. I think Mikey isn't necessarily a impact guy that's gonna change the landscape of basketball. Um, he was like what, number one, number two in the country a couple of years back for his class. DJ's
yeah,
better than him. Rob's better than him. I'm looking at, I can even look up the position like combo guard stat players. Yeah, so like here are the combo guards in front of him right now. 5-star number one in the country, DJ Wagner. DJ's a bucket, and that kid is going to be really, really special. AJ Johnson, SoCal kid going to Texas. He is very, very good. I saw Jared McCain play this weekend. He was at the turn. He was at the showcase too. He is going to be an NBA player, regardless if he stays 1 or 2 years at Duke. He has like the NBA build for a guard. He's extremely unselfish. He's really smart with the ball. He plays hard on defense. If the biggest thing for me with all these 5-star kids that how I can kind of predict, I think if they're going to go to the league or not, is if they play defense in high school. If you're not
yeah,
going to go hard and rebound and box out and dive for the ball and help your teammates and do that kind of stuff in high school, you're not going to do it in college. You know,
yeah.
another kid, Steven Castle. I honestly have never really heard of this kid. Number 20 in the country, going to UConn. You might know more than me, but that's just the kind of the things I worry with Mikey is just what is his kind of attitude and mantra going to be going into Memphis? And with JJ, like you said, JJ's got all the skills to be a pro. He's long, he's athletic, he rebounds really well. He can guard 1 through 4 probably, and his shot, he's got a good shot. Like he was making shots that I was like, wow, these kids are pulling up from like 25, 30 feet deep and hitting them. But you got other kids coming in though. Carl Sharonfant, I think his last name is.
Yeah.
Number 124th in the country, 27th at his position of small forward. Ryan Forrest, 214th in the country, shooting guard, 34th at his position. And then you have Ashton Hardaway, Penny's son. Not shocking, he was going to go to Memphis. How is he as a recruit? What are kind of some pros and cons for him, and how do you think the rest of these guys that have signed? I know there's a couple that are hard commits, but for the 4 guys, 5 guys that have signed, how do you feel about that recruiting class so far?
Um, I don't, I don't know if it will all stay together. It's a lot of for this day and age. He's bringing in a lot of freshmen. I'm not so sure that like the Ryan Forrest and David Tube actually stay in the class, but I mean, 4 year guys for Ryan Forrest and David Tubeck for sure. I know Carl Sheffrant is a plus athlete. I don't think he does much else than just drive to the basket and jump over everybody and
Mm-hmm.
score at high school level because that's he just can. I don't think he has acquired much of a jumper. I think he plays really tough defense and rebounds the ball well. He's a perfect Penny Hardaway 4-year player. Ashton though, I watched Ashton play. Him and Bronny played down here at my high school not too long ago. I want to say like a month ago, and he has impressive size, very impressive size. I did not know. I think he's taller than Penny
Yeah, he's
now.
6'7".
Yeah, and his jump shot is pure, and it looks good. The mechanics of it, everything. I think he had like 22 points when he came down here, but the only knock on him is definitely his athleticism. He definitely did not get his father's athleticism. He's a little I don't he's not very shifty out there. He's a big kid. He's definitely going to be like a power forward in college that can shoot. Uh
Mm.
and obviously you can be a good college player without being a, plus athlete. The
Yeah,
only
absolutely.
thing you just worry about that with him trying to be a pro. I don't think with the athleticism he's at right now, I don't think he could be a pro.
You guys are ranked 5th in recruiting right now. Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, UConn ahead of you. Not a lot of kids left. I'm assuming he's not going to go after any more freshman guys because 7 seems a bit
Yeah,
much.
I would not be surprised if one or two of those guys ends up.
Decommitting.
Yeah, and because I mean it's a transfer portal game now, and you want to make as much room for those fourth, fifth year guys as you can, because you
Right.
never know if Davis or someone like that is going to hit the portal, and you need to pounce on that ASAP.
Going back to Mikey and JJ, they got I don't really know the California basketball scene besides like Jared, Centennial, Canyon, Mater Dei, Westlake. They also play Notre Dame, who I'm sure you know about with Dusty Stromer, Caleb Foster, and Mercy Miller. They might lose by 30 in that
Uh,
game.
yeah, that's probably the best team they've played. I mean, outside of like Corona,
So,
Corona probably better, but
yeah.
um,
Um, I didn't get to watch Dusty play. He was here though on I think Friday afternoon, and I guess he put up like 30 points. Like
yeah,
that kid, I could see going to the league after 1 year, like Zach Collins did at Gonzaga, or I can see him staying 4 like Timmy and just being a college basketball god. You know,
he's he,
like
yeah, he's got like the intangibles. He's not big enough right now. He needs to put some weight on.
well, I feel like he might go through what Timmy did, like a little bit thinner, didn't play that much his freshman year. But I do think he probably will play his freshman year more than Timmy did.
But
But
yeah, the thing, Timmy's a center. Like he's an unathletic center too. So that's not
right.
he's a classic 4-year college player that's not gonna make it in the NBA. Stromer's like a 6'6" small forward, I want to say, and he's got moves. He can
Mm-hmm.
hit a shot whenever he wants.
Um, Going back to this Mikey, and we can wrap it up too. I hate sounding like this, but I saw him, and when he walked out for the first time, I didn't know he was tatted like that. Like this kid's got like full chest, both arms and hands, and full leg, and I'm like, bro, I got one, and I'm like, I couldn't even imagine being his age and just being like, screw it, and just like tatting up everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, the only reason I bring that up is like I said, I just wonder what his family situation is like. I know when he started to get big, it didn't seem like he had a lot of like parents and family around. That could be different, but do you worry that this can become what Amani was like last year? Just kind of overhyped 5-star that thinks he's going to get all this shine and ball out, but his game just doesn't, I guess, correlate to what college basketball is going to be and ends up transferring after a year.
Um, I would I would hope that Penny's taking a different approach in recruiting Mikey and JJ than he did with Amani and like every other 5-star he's recruited. And I would hope that he more or less just told them, you're going to have to come here and earn it. You're going to have to come
Yeah.
here and work. You're not just going to walk in here, start. like he told Amani he's going to be starting point guard. He's going to play 30 minutes a game. He's going to take all the shots. And we had veterans in that locker room that were a lot better than Amani, and they did not like the sound of that. And
Right.
it will play when Mikey comes. I guarantee you that there will be scorers that are better than him. There will probably be point guards that are better than him. With JJ, there will probably be bigs that are better than him. But at the end of the day, they do have the talent. So uh I mean, I like I said before, I could see it going so many ways. I have a feeling it won't go the way that Memphis fans want it to go. But I'm not saying that, all hope is lost and that there's no chance that it works. But so you have to get a kid that has been a household name, that's famous, has a Puma shoe deal, has everything he needs in life already, probably enough money to, I mean,
Last them a while.
last him a while, yeah. And you have to get him to buy into a college basketball team with a bunch of guys that just, I mean, are nowhere near his level of fame. So, and you have to get the guys around him to not be
Compliment.
jealous. That stuff. It's a whole thing. I don't
Yeah.
really expect Penny to ever do this again, but here we are.
Two things before we wrap up. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because he's gonna have to come in no attitude and just be ready to work. And like you said, I hope Penny and the rest of the staff can do that. I know one of the assistants left, right, with health reasons.
Yeah, Larry Brown.
Um,
He was
but
he was like special assistant to the head coach. He wasn't an actual assistant.
oh, gotcha. Okay. Um, two things. How is that you think sneaker deal going to work with him being signed to Puma and Memphis being a Nike school?
There's got to be a way around it or a loophole because there's no Puma schools. There's no Puma sponsored schools. They can't just tell Mikey he's not allowed to go to college.
Yeah.
I'm sure they figured a workaround or something.
Yeah.
Not he's gonna wear Nike if he
He
goes to
has
Memphis.
to.
Yeah, he can't. That would that would break a lot more. That would probably break a lot more contract rules than it would with his whatever his contract is with Puma. I don't
Yeah.
think a big issue with it. And if it is a real issue, Mikey can probably just opt out of it or something. I don't know.
And to bounce off that before I got one more thing for you. I do think he was probably thinking the NBA was gonna um push the eligibility to get drafted to 18. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking he was probably just being like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be in high school, do whatever I want, and then go to the league. And
Mhm.
I really hope the NBA keeps it like this because, this is kind of the reason why I don't want it to be pushed to 18. Because you got these kids who got fat egos in high school, and then they think even if they're not 5 stars, even if they're like the 85th player in the country, they're still going to think they're good enough to go to the league, even though they might need that year or two in college to really mature, build, not just like muscle, but like become better mentally, physically,
Yeah.
and really be ready to handle what an NBA life is. Because none of these, I think anyone would agree, none of these high school kids, know what it's like to be in the NBA,
I mean,
like at all.
I think college is a really good thing. It's I mean it. I don't think the NBA should really be pushing for it to be 18 either because it's that 1 year of college is very very telling normally. Normally it's very obvious whether or not they're ready after that 1 year of college. Normally in high school you can't like, especially when they play at a high school like Mikey plays at San Sidro or whatever like
Yeah.
that. Playing scrubs night in and night out. To be honest, I mean, whenever he leaves town and goes and plays a national team or something like a team nationally, obviously he's not playing scrubs, but like once he gets into his I don't know how they do it in California, his district or whatever. Every team he plays in that little district in San Diego is terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone really knows yet what Mikey's going to be until that year at Memphis is over.
Last thing for you. Are you happy for Amani Bates and how he's kind of performed at Eastern Michigan? I feel like the change of the scenery was necessary for him to really see if he was going to be able to handle the league. I know he got in some trouble before the season started. We don't need to get into that, but you happy seeing a guy that had such a rough time at Memphis with Penny and the rest of the guys being able to perform and succeed like he is at Eastern Michigan with Noah?
Yeah, I don't. I wanted him to succeed all the way through. I mean, I think he's a really good kid. I really don't have anything against Amani Bates at all. It just didn't work out here. I think, and I don't think it was completely his fault. I don't think it
Yeah.
was completely his fault. I don't think it was completely his dad's fault. I think all the factors into it, it all just became a disaster. Like, so I don't. No, I don't. I don't hold any grudges against Amani. I hope he makes the league, and I hope he's good one day. I don't. I'm still spectacle, or I still have some. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he will be good in the league, but yeah, I hope he succeeds.
Well,
Definitely.
Chris, like always, it's been a pleasure. Appreciate you coming on and talking hoop and this very interesting Mikey Williams situation. But kind of recap for you guys. We don't think Mikey's bad. We just kind of think he's a little bit overrated.
Yeah,
And it showed this weekend at HoopHall West. If you haven't gone and watched the game, go and watch it on YouTube. They got their ass kicked. Shout out to DeAndre Harrison, a past kid I've had on who plays for Perry. You played your heart out. I talked to Joe Tipton, who runs Tipton Edits after. He was very impressed by the kid I had on. So keep killing
yeah,
it, Perry. You
it's
they
Mikey. Go
what?
ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, well, yes, I want to clear the air. I'm not saying that Mikey and JJ will not be good at Memphis. I'm not saying that it's not going to work, but um sorry, someone just walked in. And um uh but I think that everyone needs to come into this with a grain of salt because we've seen this before and it can go one of two ways. So just I don't want everyone to just expect them to come in and tear it up because if you really look into it, these two guys they have a lot of flaws that need to be addressed.
Well, I love it, man. We'll talk soon. I want to have you on again. I'm sure before, but definitely beginning of March Madness, we'll kind of do a March Madness bracket breakdown show or something like that to kind of kick it off.
Sure.
But love having you on like always. Appreciate you as a friend and someone I can always go to when I need some news on Memphis. You're the only guy to break down, but real quick too. Ja and the Grizzlies, how you feeling about their finals chances?
I feel great. Once we get Bane back, we're gonna be rolling, man. I think they have a real shot this year. They look really good this year. Especially with the leap Bane took, at least in the time he was playing. I hope
Yeah.
this doesn't set him back at all. But man, and Jaren looks better. Everything looks better. I mean, I think this is the year. I hope we get Golden State. I want Golden State so bad because I
um,
feel
make sure to go
100%.
follow him on Instagram at Memphis.country. Well, I'm sure I'll post it on Instagram as well. But appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, no problem.